Hey, DeMeco, I just wanted to ask you, after a few games earlier in the season that didn't go so well, I know Kyle was asked, like, hey, what do you think of the job DeMeco's doing? Kind of like maybe you were in over your head, and now this week he's being asked about you maybe being a head coach. I just wonder if you found it amusing, just kind of the way the discussion around you has fluctuated somewhat wildly this season, and now you're, I guess, a really good rookie defensive coordinator.
No, really at the end of the day, I don't pay much attention to it. Really, it really doesn't matter to me. It's just about the guys in this locker room and what do we put together game plan wise. How are our guys going out and executing, and what do they think? That's the most important thing to me. It comes to job and who thinks is good, who doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's about our guys in this building.
DeMeco, you guys have had, you know, to the naked eye, some issues there at the cornerback position, but yet you guys rank so highly in pass defense and total defense. What is the key when you go up against a high-powered offense that has big play threats at basically every position? What do you kind of stress to the guys in a generic term?
Yeah, I mean, no matter who we're playing, I know Dallas, they have a lot of playmakers every position. They're loaded with talent all across the board. From the offensive line out to the receivers, quarterback, everybody. They have talented players. But for us, it's about not about who we're playing, it's just about us and our technique, our fundamentals, owning those things and doing them to the best of our ability, playing as fast as we can possibly play, as hard as we can possibly play, and it that takes care of itself. Who you're going against by you just owning your prep, owning your technique, and doing what you're supposed to do, and doing it collectively as a group. So it's not one man out there by himself. So that's how we approach it there.
How do you approach Dak Prescott?
Dak is at an exceptional year, man. It's awesome to see, him come back from injury. Has been very impressive from what he's done and the severity of the injury he's had. So, nothing but high praise for Dak and how he's operating the offense. I think, he's surrounded by talent, but he does a good job, putting the ball on the money. He's a very accurate quarterback, smart guy, knows where to go with the ball. He's gonna be a very, very tough challenge for us. So, we're excited about going against him, but we know at the same time it's gonna be a big task for us.
DeMeco, over the last half of the season or so, your run defense has been as good as any in the league. I know there were some bumps maybe very early in the season in that regard. How are they able to get it going, particularly in that area?
I think our run defense improved, drastically because of the unselfish play by Eric Armstead. I think moving people kind of forget we lost we lost our starter in Kinlaw early in the year, and we were trying to figure that out inside. Whether you want to play good run defense, you got to have two really good interior defensive linemen, and Eric unselfishly moving inside, and DJ Jones has been, I mean, he's been outstanding all year. He has had a dominant year, a career year inside, and he's been consistent all year. That's why our run defense has been good. Defense has been better because of Eric and his play. Eric continued to get better and better inside as the year went on, and DJ has been as consistent as ever this year.
There you go. You guys haven't really blitzed this much this season. I think fourth least in the NFL. Was that the plan going in, or did that evolve based on the way things were going? And is that kind of your style, to maybe not blitz and play some zone behind that?
I think, well, for me, my style is it's all about not about what I want to do, but it's about what can you get players to do and who are the players that you have and what can you do and what does each week call for. So each week for me it changes, based on who we're playing and what do we need to do to win that game. So people talk about blitzing. Blitzing isn't always the answer all the time. Just because you have the most blitzes doesn't mean you're the best defense. So it's all about, what do you need? What is it going to take to win that particular game? And it's not about how many times you blitz or don't blitz. It's about your defense playing together.
DeMeco, after the recent firings in the NFL, Mike Tomlin is the only African American head coach left in the league. As an African American coach, do you find that upsetting? Is it discouraging to you?
And I think, for one, the guy you mentioned is Mike Tomlin. You just think about, he's definitely a guy I look up to as a coach. You talk about just the consistency that he's had over the years, not to have a losing season. I mean, always in the playoffs. So he's definitely a coach that I look up to and I want to mimic. Able to be in that position, I want to mimic a coach like Mike Tomlin with the success that he's had. So I think as this new cycle comes around, I think multiple guys will get opportunities, and we'll hope to see some change there and see many other African-American coaches get that gig, get the head coaching job, and be in a position to lead these young men.
DeMeco, why do you think you've been able to maximize Arden Key's talent in a way that hasn't happened before for him, and how much of a role has Chris Kasurek played in that?
Yeah, I think Chris Kasurek, he's definitely played a key role in just the entire D-line and how those guys have gelled together, how we've found that special mix of guys. And I think Arden he's put in the work to continue to get better and better as the year went on. And I think we've found that niche, putting him inside. He's been very effective inside. He's probably one of our most effective guys rushing when it comes to rushing inside. So I'm very happy with Arden and what he's able to do. You saw that in watching him as a free agent. You saw what he could do, inside as a rusher. And I think just with the group collectively, how they rush together, I think that's allowed Arden to garner some success because of the other guys that he has around him. Not so much of what he's doing, but just all those guys working together has allowed Arden to have a great year rushing inside. Bosa, his best year outside. Sampson, his best year. So it's not only Arden, but all those guys together have done an awesome job.
Yeah, DeMeco, were you pleasantly surprised with what you got out of Greenlaw and Emmanuel Mosley after the time they missed? And is it fair to say that you guys are as healthy and deep as you've been all year?
Yeah, not surprised by Greenlaw or E-Man. I know what those guys bring. I know how they've played in the past for us. So I knew, the ability they had and the type of plays they would be able to make for us. So not surprised with what they're able to do. Is very for me, it was encouraging and excited just to see Greenlaw back out there from all the time that he's missed, and to see him come back and wreak havoc in that game on Sunday. It was awesome to watch. But it's just a credit to those guys, man, the work that they continue to put in. Battling injuries are tough. It's hard mentally to come back from those things. We know the physical aspect of it, but I always just applaud those guys just for overcoming that mental hurdle of the injury and still being able to go out and perform the way they perform. Is just it's a beauty to see.
These last three for Coach?
Miko, I know a lot of stuff has gone into your turnaround in the second half of the season, but from an emotional level, was there anything to the Cardinals' loss at home? I know a lot of guys said that was not up to their standard, and it was just embarrassing. Do you think that played any kind of role in the turnaround, maybe hitting a low like that?
I think the Cardinals game, it wasn't our best outing, one we're not proud of, but I don't see it as a turning point or a moment that changed our season. It was a bad outing. We had a lot of guys out for that game. We didn't play good fundamental football, and when you don't play sound fundamentals, you're gonna get beat. So that's one thing we pride ourselves on, is doing it the right way, playing sound and being on our fundamentals. You come back to that game, we didn't tackle well, we weren't on our keys, what we're supposed to do, and we got beat, and that's what it came down to.
Mika, what's it like to be Kyle Shanahan's DC? I mean, I know you've known him, you've been on the staff, but to be his DC, and Kyle says himself, he can be pretty challenging sometimes. What's it like to be in the room, to be on the sideline for the first year as a DC for Kyle Shanahan?
Kyle has been great, man. He's been very helpful throughout my first year as a coordinator. Kyle has been very helpful when it comes to ideas or scheme. What does he see from us? What are we doing? Things that we should probably look into a little bit more of changing. All those things. When you're talking about having one of the best offensive minds in the history of the game, to have him on my side, I see it as an advantage. So it's been very, very pleasing to work with Kyle. He's been great. He's fun to work with, and I wouldn't want to work with anyone else, man. He's an awesome head coach, and love the work that he's done here.
Do the last one with Cam.
DeMeco, can you talk about what Nick Bosa's mindset looks like this week as he gets back to the playoffs for the first time since the Super Bowl, and how much can you put on his shoulders, as much as obviously you'd want to have the whole defense playing well, but how much can you put on Nick's shoulders for this?
Yeah, Nick just has to be Nick. Nick doesn't have to press or do anything more. Like I spoke of earlier, it's about, all those guys, everybody collectively playing together well around Nick, and Nick playing well. Nick just has to come out and give us his best like he's done every week, and he just does that. Nick being Nick is going to be enough for us, and I think he'll have a good game for us.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey there.
Well, hey there. Howdy. How we doing?
Fantastic. Hey, how do the Cowboys compare, just athletic wise, physicality wise, what they do to some of the teams you faced?
You're talking like all over the ball, offense, defense. I mean, they got stars all over the field. I love watching Dallas film. I think their offense is incredibly fun to watch. From their wide receivers, Ezekiel Elliott, I've always enjoyed watching him. The running back behind Ezek is incredible. He's fast, runs through tackles. Dak Prescott's pretty good at football. They've got an unreal O-line. They've got athletes all over the field. And then on defense, I think they've got a fantastic D-line. Parsons is a physical, fast guy. I'm excited to play against him. Friend of Van Der Esch. I've been looking forward to playing him because I didn't get to play him last year. And then I got Lawrence and Gregory. I mean, they got stars and athletes all over the field that know how to play football, and they love playing football. So, I mean, it's a really good team, and I'm looking forward to getting an opportunity to play against them.
George, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about your shirt? And then the second question is about Jawan Jennings. The first about your shirt.
Oh, just my Debo shirt. Actually, I honestly just took it from his locker on my way in here because I wanted to rep my Debo guy. Are you wearing a mask on a Zoom call? That's aggressive.
I'm at the airport.
I don't feel safe now, but I'll put one on too if I had one. My Debo shirt, I mean, hey, gotta tuck your chains. You play with the mindset of Debo and you're going to have a good day. What was your other question?
My other question was, Jimmy was saying yesterday about Juwan Jennings. He's the life of the party in the locker room, but then once he's on the field, he's locked in. And that sounds somewhat similar to how you play football. Is that something you guys have talked about? Have you ever given him tips on that?
Yes and no. Jawan's kind of a guy that you just got to let Jawan be Jawan, and he's going to show up. You guys got to trust that he's responsible enough to do whatever he needs to do, and he's going to show up and play at a high level, which he does. I've never once worried about Jawan. I mean, he always shows up and he always, performs on every practice. You don't really have to have too many conversations with him because you can tell how much he loves the game. But yeah, he definitely has a lot of fun in the locker room. But when he goes out there, he's out there to earn the respect of his teammates, which is what you want in a football player.
George, we saw you out there with Trent Williams today. How much does it mean for your offense to get him back in the lineup for Sunday, possibly?
I mean, he's the best football player I've ever played with, so it's very helpful. Huge Trent Williams fan. Love playing with him. Love blocking with him. He makes my life a lot easier. He makes everybody's life a lot easier. You can ask him to block two guys, and he'll do it with ease. Trent, like a little bit hurt, is still better than I think almost everybody in the NFL, regardless of position. So having him back is a huge impact for us and will allow us to do a a lot more things in the running pass game.
Hey, George, the Cowboys obviously have like a trio of pretty good pass rushers and looks like a elite cornerback. Are they in some ways similar, personnel wise, to what you see from the Rams?
Kinda. It's a little bit different just because I think Aaron Donald is one of the best defensive players like I've ever seen. I get to go against weekly. Nothing against the Cowboys guys. They don't have Aaron Donald in the middle. And that's no offense to anybody, just the way that it is. But I mean, their edge guys are elite. The way that they set them all up and they do all their stunts with 90, 93, and 11. They're really good at those stunts. They hit them fast. If you think twice, they already pass you. I mean, that's why they have so many sacks, so many forced fumbles, so many strip sacks. And that's how they make all the pressure to be leading the league in interceptions, just because that D-line just adds all that pressure and QB's got to get rid of it so fast. So you definitely got to be on your toes, got to be really aware, of everything going on around you, and you just got to really account for those guys and, give Jimmy some time in there, and he'll be able to drop some dimes.
George, after the Super Bowl, there was that video that came out that showed you talking about you would be back. You were vowing to get back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's a year later than you would have liked, but being back in the postseason, what did you learn from your last postseason run that maybe can help you this time around?
This time around is, I think, completely different than what we did last time. Last time we were sent at a 1 seed with a bye, getting a week of our bodies right, watching other teams play football. And now we're on the road, guaranteed almost for the next 3 games. We want to get back to where we want to go. So, definitely a little bit of a different mindset. But, I think one of the best things I learned from the playoffs last time, especially, my tight end coach, John Embry, was always, we talked about just last week, was I got to play my 4th postseason game, which is more than Tony Gonzalez ever got to play in like 17 years. And so Trent Williams has played in 2 in his whole career. Alex Mack, I think, is at 4, maybe 5. And so you never know when you're going to get the opportunity. I think, Alex Mack said he hadn't played in a postseason game until year 8. And so the fact that I get to play him in my 2nd postseason, year 5, every single snap matters. It doesn't matter if you're on the backside of the run, front side, you're on the backside of a pass. It doesn't really matter what your role is. You have to do it the best of your ability every single snap, because you don't know if you're going to get another one. If you lose that game, there's no guarantees you're going to be back the next year. So many things can happen. That happened to us last year. We thought we had a great team going into it, and all of a sudden we had 45 guys on IR, it felt like. And we're in a position now where we have guys healthy, we have guys coming back. I think our offense is hitting a little bit of a stride here. Guys are playing at a high level, and our defense looks pretty damn good. So, we just got to keep this thing rolling and take advantage of every single snap that we have.
We'll do 2 more for George, please.
George, as far as Tom Compton, you're looking back, and Mike McGlinchey was having such a good year, and I don't want to say it's a surprise given that Compton's been around for a while. He's a veteran, but he's been a guard most of his career. Why has he been so effective switching from tackle, and were you surprised at all by it? What's just your impression of how well he's played this season?
It's actually crazy because Tom was on, he's been on like 5 teams now in the last 3, like before last year, he was on 3 different teams in 3 years. It's like they were trying to get rid of him, and all I needed was a team to give him a chance at a position that he excelled at, and especially in an offense that he's really good at. He's good at outside zone. He's good at our pass pro stuff, but we put him into an offense where he can excel at. We don't ask him to do things he doesn't need to do. And then on top of that, Tom's an extremely hard worker. He shows up. He's one of the first guys in every single day. Takes care of his body. Takes care of his business. And he's a good leader. I know he doesn't talk a lot, but he's a solid guy in the huddle. Like you see him, and he's a guy that you want to lean on too. And Tom's been nothing but incredible for us. Ever since I've met Tom, he's been awesome. He's been a leader for us. Right when Mike went down, Tom, he stepped up in a big way. It was fun to play along with him. It's been fun to really get to know him and play alongside him this entire year. We have a lot of great triple blocks, a lot of combo stuff. He's good to communicate with out there, and he's always on the same page with the tight ends, which is something I really appreciate. And I think he's only gotten better week to week. He really has. I think he's gotten much better. And if you can get better I think he's in year 8 or 9, then you're doing something right. Oh, no, he's in year 10, I think. Jeez Louise. Go Tom.
Hey, George, there's a saying about you got to be able to run the ball once it's in the playoffs. I'm sure some of that is because of the weather. But you guys took that to an extreme 2 years ago. Is there anything to it? Just besides the weather that why it's so important. When it gets to the postseason, you have to be able to at least be able to establish something of a ground game?
I don't know how much the weather is going to affect the dome, but
yeah, I don't think it's going to be a factor Sunday.
I think the biggest thing about running the football is you just control the clock. You want your defense to have as much break as it possibly can. You want their offense to not be on the field scoring points. So if you can control the clock by running the football, gaining yards, having multiple first downs, you just can't have 3 and outs. So if you can run the ball effectively, get a bunch of 3rd and shorts or no 3rd downs at all, go up and down the field, a couple 12-play drives, 15-play drives. Next thing you know, it's the second half and you might be up a score or 2. And that's all you want to do. Run the football, be physical, set the tone, and have fun doing it.
Hey, listen, Jerry could open up the windows in the dome, but it's going to be 51, so I don't see that happening here. Quick question for you. You talked about playing a guy like Aaron Donald. What stands out to you about Micah Parsons? He's lined up at safety, corner, he rushes the passer, and obviously you don't have tape on him from last week. When you look at the tape that you have seen, what stands out about him as an offense that you have to guard against?
I mean, you kind of said it. He can do it all. He lines up everywhere. He makes plays all over the field. There's times, I remember there's a clip versus the Giants where they tried to do some type of pick route. He fell off it, got a knockdown in the red zone. I mean, he's a smart football player. But at the same time, he's fast, he's violent, and he's very physical. You can just see all the sacks that he gets. It's just because it's his effort, his tenacity. He's a hell of a football player. But you can see the effort in there too. He doesn't rely on his athletic talent. You can tell that he knows what he's doing. He's out there, he's going against guys, he knows what their techniques are. And then at the end of the day, he's given that high motor, high effort, and it allows him to get those sacks, allows him to get those, the knockdowns, the forced fumbles. He's just a really good football player. You can tell just by watching the tape. He jumps off the tape at you even though it's silent. And if you have a football player like that, he's got a chance to be great.
Thank you, George.
See you guys.
Tuck your chains.
Is anyone else here?
I'm here. Oh,
There he is.
there I am. Hey, Mike, has the word reached you about the job interview, potential job interview? Has that anything been set up? And just what's your approach, juggling at this time of year, being an offensive coordinator for a playoff team, and in the back of your mind, also knowing that you could have a head coaching opportunity down the road?
Yeah, it has. But as far as juggling, there is no juggling. It's about the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers offense going down there and performing, and the 49ers team doing whatever it takes to try and get a W against a very good football team. And that's it.
Hey, Mike, Jimmy in 2019 had game-winning drives and such, but it seems like maybe he's taken that to another level this year. Just his play in the clutch, and sometimes it hasn't worked out against like Seattle or Tennessee, but he still had some pretty memorable moments. What is it? What is it about him that seems to get even better when the stakes are the highest?
I think he's exhibiting even more ownership of the offense, and I think he's really flexing his mental ability to have his vision forward and take any obstacle as a challenge. And really, we're seeing the best football Jimmy has played. It's been, his teammates can feel it. I think you guys feel it. I think the fans feel it, and that's to his credit. Just reps in the system and cutting it loose, and his teammates playing well around him.
Mike, as far as Jawan Jennings, it seems like he's obviously, we talked about him being in that Kendrick Bourne role. Is that something where those guys, because there's so much attention on third down on your other guys who are, probably more notable, that those guys get favorable matchups, more of the time? And what is it? Is there an intangible quality to guys on third down to be able to show up in those spots?
Yeah, it's interesting. They both have similar boisterous, same guy day in day out type personalities. But as far as the play, it's when a lot of your reps come on third down. Third down's where the most man is, so you better be able to separate and have some route running skills. As far as who they go against the same people that everyone else does. We motion and formation things in multiple ways, and we don't really have one trick ponies in the sense that you have to be able to operate in the slot and you have to be able to operate outside. So he's been doing an outstanding job as he's gained opportunities, and much in the way that we relied on Kendrick Bourne, we've come accustomed to relying on him as well.
Hey, Mike, what strikes you about Micah Parsons when you're watching him?
What doesn't strike me, Micah Parsons is, it's the first time I've got to study him. I'm alive, so I've heard about him, and he's been noisy this year. Is very, very impressive. I think it's a great match. Working with Dan Quinn and they're getting a ton out of him. He's a multi-tool defender that can win on the line of scrimmage and can track from the linebacker position. He gives people problems, and I can see why I knew his name before I had studied him and seen him play.
Hey, Mike, you guys always talk about, everybody talks about the league being a copycat league, especially when it comes to schematic things. But from a personnel standpoint, when a guy like Debo has a season that he did and does things the way he did them, do you think that's going to become something that other teams are looking for, or is that just so hard to replicate, finding a guy who is as versatile as he is?
No, I think anytime people kind of approach some uncharted territory, it kind of opens people's minds. But if you've watched any of the draft coverage the last couple of years, people have been trying to find the next Debo. Problem is there's one Debo, and maybe that opportunity will open it up for other guys with his skill sets. But he's a rare player that for him to be able to contribute in the way he does, I mean, shoot, it's taken time for us to adjust, just because you're going step by step, and with a player learning your offense, you want him to master stuff before you move on. And we've learned this year that, hey, this guy can handle more things within our system, and we can find different ways to get him the ball because he's truly special at doing so. You all right? Yeah. Just checking on my guy.
Everything okay?
We're good.
No. You need
Good to hear.
CPR?
We're good.
No? We're good.
All right, awesome. From the Cowboys defensive personnel, they have at least three pretty accomplished, capable pass rushers, and they have looks like an elite cornerback. Are they in some ways reminiscent of the Rams, just from who they put in the field?
Yeah, I mean they've got really good players, and they play hard. It's a testament to their coaching staff and those individuals on the field, and it's similar. Their defensive structures are much different, but it's similar in that if you're not on your P's and Q's, they can embarrass you, and that's a fact that they've had tremendous success and really given offenses this season fits, because they you cannot take a down off. You can't be off on your sets. They are screaming off the ball. You have to be prepared for them down in, down out. Otherwise, you don't give yourself a chance to win the game. So, in terms of being very skilled, having a very good pass rush, it is similar. Schematically, it is a juxtaposition. It's a little different.
Hey, Mike, I just want to circle back to something you just mentioned about Debo, that it's kind of an ongoing process for you guys in figuring out how to use him. How much does that kind of open up your imagination and challenge you, having a guy like that, in terms of, we can look at it and say, well, you've thrown it with him, you've thrown it to him, you hand it to him, you've done all these things, but how much are you still kind of in the lab always trying to cook up new things with him?
Well, yeah, it's a competitive challenge. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's something that you really dream of as a coach, in terms of being able to utilize people in different ways to try to find advantageous looks for the offense in general. I would say that we challenge ourselves to open our mind and really see how we can do our best to stress a defense out, but don't get it twisted. It's a good stress, a something that you're challenging yourself with, because all he does is alleviate stress on game days for his teammates and coaches alike. It's a lot easier to figure stuff out on Monday and Tuesday, with the problem that you're trying to solve is, how do I get this guy the ball? And on game day, hey, Debo, here's the ball. That's the best thing for a coach that you could possibly imagine.
Last one.
Yeah, just to kind of continue that Debo talk. I mean, obviously we've seen him catch the ball, run the ball, even throw the ball now. Year by year, how has he impressed you the most? And have you ever been around an all-around football player quite like Debo?
He impresses me because he's a guy that has an unbelievable will to get better. He's such a cool personality that he never seems stressed, and it's kind of a misrepresentation of how diligent he is in terms of progressing in his craft. I think he'll be done worried about getting better when he starts getting some 50 to 55-yard punts off, because then his game is complete. But otherwise, he is working day in, day out to put his best foot forward and take advantage of the opportunity. He's a wise 25, soon to be 26-year-old on Saturday, and he's getting better and better as we progress, and as a result, the 49ers are getting better as well.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Ready when you are.
Jordan, with all the success you've had recently in the past couple months, actually, have you noticed offenses blocking you any different, paying more attention to you? Have you noticed that you're kind of getting the respect that your play is warranted?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting the respect. All of us as a D line is getting the respect. They doing whatever they can to block Bosa, whether they can put 3, 4, 5, 6, however many on him, and then they choose to slide the line away to get the other 3 rushers. So it's a lot. I guess I would say Tennessee Titans, we did a lot on empty chippers, what to run against those type things, because that was pretty much our first time actually seeing that as much in the season. So we've been working hard to try to defeat those blocking schemes.
Arden, just going back to when you came here, you talked about sort of being frustrated that you were not used probably the way you wanted to be with the Raiders. It looked like at the start of training camp, Chris Kasarik, I wouldn't say frustrated, but it looked like he was really trying to get the most out of you. What has he done to be able to make you comfortable and to get you playing the way you are right now?
Him being him. No, I don't think nothing really ever changed with him over the years of him coaching. I say he probably calmed down a lot, talking to other players. But he just demanding the best from you every day. He want the best for everybody. And that's from practice squad guys all the way up to the guy. And he want the same for everybody. He want everybody to be better, everybody to reach their full potential. And he's the same every day, and that's what I respect about him.
Arden, going back to that, you were so happy to land at the 49ers after years of not being happy with the Raiders. Has it lived up to your expectations? Has everything gone according to plan, or is it even better than you thought it might be?
It's exceeded my expectations. It's different. What I would say, I expected everything, but it's different when you expect it and then when you actually live in the reality of it. And you just seeing it going to work every day, and you don't pretty much see it till you actually get the success, and you see the success in us as a D-line, the hard work we put in from OTAs, the training camp to this point. Now we put the work in. We put a lot of work in, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, and now we're seeing the fruits of our labors.
Arden, you mentioned the Tennessee game, and I think you said empty chippers. Can you just educate us a little bit about why that game was different, what empty chippers are, and how you guys have gotten better dealing with that?
Well, empty chippers would be, you just have the quarterback and you might have a running back or a tight end, and you have them a little bit behind the offensive tackles. And their responsibility is to chip the edges, and then you have both guards in the center. And their responsibility is for the inside guys, the 2 inside guys. So when you got that, you can have 2 ends rushing on the outside, and you have that tight end or running back or that empty chipper and that tackle both on you. And then now you have the inside guy where you have the guard and the center, and you might have one-on-one rush within it, depending on how everything go when the play go. But 9 times out of 10 you have 6 on 4. So that's why it's empty chipper, and that's the hard part, because you got 6 on 4. So you got to figure out what rush you can get to have somebody who win the 1-on-1 or 2 1-on-1s.
Arden, you got a locker room full of teammates who were around for the Super Bowl run in 2019. As one of the guys who's new to the team this year, how much of a sense do you get going into this postseason that there's kind of that unfinished business amongst your teammates?
We've been hearing that since OTA training camp, but I think it's just that's the culture around here. Everybody want to get to the championship every year. They want to do it every year, and I say we like to do it the dirty way. The hard way. I don't know why sometimes. I be getting mad. Sometimes we should just be blowing people out of the water. But we just make it hard on ourselves sometimes. But that's the culture around here. Getting to the big ship every year, and it's just another year.
Yeah, Arden, when you came out in the draft and people looked at your height and your length and your speed and they got, and it was projected. This is a classic edge guy. But are you I don't know, surprised, pleasantly surprised that so much of your damage is coming inside? And is that something you expected when you came out of college?
I ain't expected coming out of college. Definitely didn't. Not surprised because it was an easy transition. Because I played inside. I played all across the line since the start of my football career. I played a little bit inside during college. So I had a little bit of experience there, starting there. And then every year, my rookie year, I played inside a little bit. My sophomore year, I played a lot. I played more than my rookie year inside. So ever since I've been in the league, I've been getting reps inside. This will be the most reps I've gotten inside, and I'm liking it. I'm loving it.
Well, while you're inside, Nick Bosa's still on the outside. So I'm just kind of curious, what is Bosa's mindset this week? Like at some point, it seems like he's going to break loose eventually and get like a 3-sack game, and it's a one here, one there, one here, one there. Do you see like he's pent up, ready to go?
That's every week with Bosa. And one thing I'm surprised with, Nick Bosa he has not came to the sideline crying or complaining about, oh, they chipping me, or this, that, and the third. When we get a sack, you see him, he might be on the ground, he might have 3 people on him, but you see his hands go up because he happy for his brothers. We all brothers. We happy for him when he get the sack. When he got that sack last game, came to the sideline, I told him, welcome back. We just joke with each other all the time, but Nick is the same guy every week. It don't matter who he playing, who coming into town, who town we going into. He gonna be the same guy. He going to get that quarterback.
Arden, one of your defensive teammates recently said that you've been making some money this year. And, obviously you came to the 49ers on a 1-year deal, kind of a prove-it deal. How big of a priority is it for you as you look ahead, to try to stay here, but also knowing that you've played so well that, there's a chance that maybe you priced yourself out of the 49ers market?
Man, I love it here. I'm not thinking about contract talk. I'm not having no contract talk. Nothing. Everything will be after the season. We just here enjoying every moment right now. Cause like I said, this is really a brotherhood over here. Like we're not. Oh, I'm about to cuss. No cap in our rap. That's what they say. No cap in our rap. A lot of teams say, "Oh yeah, we care one another. We want to we want to see everybody successful and everything like that." But we really mean it over here, and it's really a brotherhood. And I don't want it to end. We don't want it to end. So we taking it day by day, bringing it all in, and let the chips fall wherever they may.
Last one.
Hey, Arden, of your guys' last 15 sacks, only 1.5 has been by Bosa. That's not to knock Bosa, but the point is, as you've been saying, there's all this attention on him, and it's freeing other guys up. That wasn't always the case early in the season. Did you guys feel pressure or feel like, hey, we just got to do better if they're going to put all this attention on Bosa? It's up to us to get this done?
Yeah, I guess once they started, because Bosa started off so fast. I guess once they really started to put all the attention on Bosa, that's when we started rushing better. We started rushing better as a group. Everything just happened like right on time. It wasn't like I'm mad that I'm mentioning Oakland or the Raiders, but it kind of take time once you try to figure out whatever. But here it just, I don't know, everything just happened right when it was supposed to. So it wasn't like, oh man, we're not playing as good for like 5, 6, 7 weeks. Now we got to try to change it. It was just something that just happened. I guess it just happened.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Ready when you are.
Hello, Trent. How are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Can you fill me in and all of us on how your elbow's doing? Did you practice today with the brace on, and just what are your limitations or feelings about everything?
The elbow's doing good. It's made a lot of improvement over the past week or so. I practiced today. Felt pretty good. I chose to go with the tape. I'm not a huge fan of the brace, so I went with the tape today. But everything feels pretty good.
Hey, Trent, how did you hurt the elbow, and how close did you think you were to being able to go last week?
I knew going last week was a bit of a shot in the dark, but I just, obviously with the season being where it was, I couldn't give up on myself early in the week, so I just thought I'd give it to the very last second to see if I could, make any breakthroughs or get any better, to see if I could push through it. I did that, and it didn't work, but we kind of knew that, though. There was we knew that 1 week of rest was probably not enough, and I just prayed that we can get a second week in, and we were able to. But I heard it on the sixth play in the Houston Texan game. So I just I labored through it. I got it done, and eventually when we had the game in hand, they let me come out. But same thing with that game. I knew that game was too important for me to pull out at that time, and on the sixth play of the game, we still were kind of trying to find our way. So I definitely didn't think it was a good time for me to miss any time. So I just gritted through it, and I paid the price later.
Trent, will that require surgery? And then the other part is, can you take us through Sunday? Like, what was it like for you to watch that game and be on the sideline and be in the locker room and just root those guys on? What was that perspective for you?
Oh, yeah. First off, no, it won't require surgery. It was something that there's a non-surgical approach, and so I think that's probably what we lean on taking. But yeah, watching the game from the sideline was extremely tough. You see, I lost my voice. Still hadn't got it back, full effect yet. But yeah, it was tough, man. I felt a piece of me felt bad. I felt like I let my team down, even though I knew there was, me trying to go out there and play under that condition where I could barely use my dominant hand, my right hand. I didn't think me with one good hand was better than Colt with two. So I had to make a decision that went against my pride, and just had to kind of, succumb to the injury, and just, had to give it its time to heal. But, not coaching it, but playing it from the sideline, just trying to give tips and affect the game any way possible just by helping my guys out. I mean, it was nerve-wracking. It's something that I definitely don't want to do, especially in a high-stakes game like that. I can't see myself doing that again.
Not only the roller coaster of being on the sidelines, but the roller coaster of that game was a crazy one. How did you manage your emotions during all of that?
I mean, it was tough, man. It was tough. Like, obviously going down 17-0, me, I think I took a lot of it personally, because I thought that, if I didn't have this stupid injury, I could be out there helping my team and putting us in a better position, not knowing if I would even made a difference, at that time. But that's just how I felt. It sucked, sitting nursing the injury and watching your brothers and stuff fight for the season. And then when it's not going that well, obviously it's easier as a player, because you know that there are ups and downs that come with the game, and you try to fly at a certain level. You don't get too high, don't get too low. But when you're not in the game, you get to worry. I worried going down 17-0. I thought our season was pretty much over, and then like you said, a roller coaster. We rode a high all the way to get back to 17 up, and then we driving, looks promising, and we have a mishap down in the red zone that gives them life again, kind of gives them the momentum. They take advantage, they score, and we going down, it's down 7. We got to drive the length of the field and get a touchdown to keep it a game, less than 2 minutes left. And we give up a sack on third down. Yeah, I think at that point, I thought like a lot of fans thought that our season was pretty much coming to an end. I knew that there was some hope because we had 3 timeouts and our defense is really stiff against the run. I didn't expect the Rams to try to throw the ball at all, trying to run the clock out. So, I knew there was a flicker of hope, but yeah, that was probably the lowest point of the game. And then obviously it was followed by outstanding drive by Jimmy and the boys, and followed up by another drive, that Jimmy was at the helm of and led the team down for the game-winning field goal. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of emotions, but it's definitely not anything I want to relive anytime soon.
Trent, just George mentioned it. This is only the 3rd time you're going to be in the playoffs. Just what is that like, given how long and accomplished your career has been, but limited experience in the playoffs? What's it like just being here and getting another shot?
It's different. I think last time I was in the playoffs was 2016, so the 2015 season really. So literally 6 years ago. So that's twice the career length of the average NFL player. So I don't even remember what it was like in 2016. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember how it felt, around the building, how the vibe was. But I know now the vibe is amazing. The sun's shining brighter. It seems like, you wake up, the day starts out nicer. It's just, having that vibe and knowing that, we did what half of the league is already enjoying the off season. And then there's another half of the teams that, that took care of business during the season that gets to play for something more. And to know that you're a part of that bunch, it definitely breeds confidence in the organization. But, it allows you to take a step back and look at the hard work. I mean, us as a team, we've overcame a lot, in this whole season. We've played the best competition the NFL has to offer. We've been through ups and downs. We've played games without our quarterback. We played games without, the best tight end in the NFL. We've been through the ringer. So to me, I think it's so gratifying to know that we're still here and we're still fighting, and to know that there's literally not a fight that we hadn't seen, and so this team I think has enough grit, has enough resolve to do anything we want to do.
What are the challenges that the guys, specifically the guys you'll be up against on that, as far as the edge rushers for the Cowboys? What are the challenges that they present you?
Oh man, I mean they want, that 3 that rush tandem, 11, 94, and 90. They're 3 of the best in the league. When you look at one group, I think that's one of the most concentrated group of rushers and more dynamic group of rushers. I think that makes that defense go. Personally, if you look at them throughout the year, they all get it started up front. It all starts up front. I think 94 is having a breakout year. I've always thought he was a pretty talented guy. I think now there's not as many people in front of him, and I think he's showing the league what he really can do. I think he's really setting it on fire as opposed to what he can do in the pass rush game and how hard he plays. And obviously we all know what 11's been doing, and we've all seen what 90's done his whole career. So those guys present a huge challenge. It's definitely not going to be easy. It's one of those things we just can't play into their hands and have to get into a drop back game.
Hey, Trent, you mentioned the drives Jimmy led at the end of the game and then in overtime. And, he's had quite a few of those moments this year, a lot recently, actually. Even Tennessee, when you guys didn't win, with the bum thumb and everything. You didn't obviously get to see him play much last year, but has he shown you this year anything more like, hey, I respected that guy, but I didn't quite know he had this in him, if that makes sense?
No, I never questioned what he had. And I mean, I came here looking at Jimmy as a Super Bowl quarterback. He took his team to the Super Bowl. I don't care how good your defense is, how good your run game is, and the quarterback still has the biggest job on the football field. And if your quarterback's not getting it done, the team won't get it done. It don't matter how big a sample size his job has to be. If he don't get it done, the team don't get it done. So I've always held Jimmy with the highest form of respect because I know he's a winning quarterback, and winning games in this league is extremely tough. No matter how good the surrounding group of guys around you are, when you're willing and dealing that football, that's a lot of times it's a one-man job, and a lot of times a couple inches right, a couple inches left can result in a turnover. So their job is very tedious, it's very intricate, it's very detailed. So the fact that he, had his team undefeated for the majority of that 19 season, then he's followed that up and still took his team to the Super Bowl. I've always had the highest level of confidence in him.
Got time for 3 more, guys?
Hey, Trent, just kind of drawing from your Texas roots, what does it mean to be playing in Texas and going against the Cowboys and just whatever extra motivation that is for you?
Honestly, I don't really get a lot of extra motivation from it anymore. Yeah, I think I went to Oklahoma, so it was always a rivalry coming back, playing the Longhorns and playing them in Dallas, and then going to the Washington, football team and playing them twice a year and it being such a division rival. That kind of that little juice, the extra juice you get it going back home, that kind of like played out a few years back. But it always feels good to go to Jerry's World, go to Texas, which is, and I believe is like the Mecca of football, and be one of the biggest shows on turf, come Sunday. I think, everybody's going to be tuning in. This is a classic matchup where, it's literally can go either way. So, I think being in a game like that, in an atmosphere like Texas, I think that gets me juiced up. But it's not that I'm coming back home and have some type of, grudge against a Dallas Cowboy team or anything like that.
Trent, Kyle said yesterday that he thinks Jawan Jennings plays 95% blacked out, and he obviously looks like he's having so much fun out there. What does that bring to the offense, and just a reminder that it is a game where you're having fun?
For me, for me and myself, just being a guy 12th year, it energizes you. When you see that type of raw emotion, you see somebody who literally is like, Jawan is only in his second year. It's really his first year. He spent a lot of the year hurt last year. But, to see him living out his dreams and to see that it really means a lot to him. He doesn't take it for granted. He's not one of those guys who wake up and say, I'm supposed to be here. I deserve to be here. He works every day for his spot. He's worked up the depth chart. He's worked up the roster. I mean, he has a very infectious type of energy that he brings to the huddle, that he brings to the locker room. So me, I get it kind of recenters me a little bit to say, I'm so far removed of accomplishing my dream, that now it's work, and now to see somebody who's still kind of in that honeymoon period of accomplishing their dreams, I think it's refreshing for me. I love to see it. I think he's the guy that when you put that much passion and you care that much about what you do, I honestly feel like the sky's the limit for him.
Last one, Josh. Go ahead.
Hey, Trent, the All-Pro team's coming out tomorrow. What would it mean to you after the things you've gone through if you were to make that team?
I think it'll feel good finally. It sucks because I can't let it define my career because I've never made it. So if I felt like that's what I needed to define my career, then anything I've done up to now is really hogwash in my opinion. So I mean, it'll definitely feel good to get a notch if that happens. But at this point, I'm not putting a whole lot of time into it, or not a lot of thought going into it. If I make it, I make it. I've been disappointed year after year after year, so it's really come to a point where I'm almost numb to it. yeah, I would love to make it, but I'm not looking forward to it. I didn't even know when it was coming out just because, I'm so used to getting that disappointment. So if it happens, it happens. And I'll thank God and keep moving.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Nick, I think in the last 4 games, you guys as a team have 15 sacks, which is quite good. You only have 1.5 of them, which I don't say to bang on you, but just seems to be a reflection of maybe you guys just doing a better job if teams are going to devote a lot of resources to you, to making them pay. Obviously, you'd probably want to have 15 sacks, but I don't know, is there truth in that you guys late in the season have is that a reflection of you guys figuring some things out, how to defeat teams if they're going to do that to you?
Yeah, I think everybody's starting to play really well around. Everybody's winning their one-on-one matchups and getting comfortable out there, and it definitely shows that you can't really double team anybody because somebody will get there.
Nick, as you're watching the Cowboys film, what does Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins, what did they do that was going to be a challenge for you? And not that you can compare one of them to Trent Williams, but how do they kind of stack up in left tackles?
I think they're both very solid players. Obviously, Tyron's had a Hall of Fame career, I think. And him and Trent have been the best tackles in the league for a long time. But they're definitely beatable. There's tape on them getting beat, and we're trying to do the same. But they've definitely been in and out of the lineup a lot this year and the past years. So just game plan is to make them work.
Nick, what does this mean to you being back in the playoffs? And I mean, do the memories of the Super Bowl, are they still fresh in your mind? And just how much do you want to put this game and just dominate it?
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited for this one. There's definitely a different just energy and vibe once you get here, and it's win or go home, and it was kind of that last week, but it's different now, and we just want to win and keep going because this group is really special, and we want to accomplish special things.
They kind of following up on that. I realize it's different circumstances. You're not going to be at home the whole time, number one seed and all that this time around. But what did you learn from your first playoff experiences that you think can maybe help you this time?
Definitely learned that it's football. It's the same game we're playing. It's just really good teams, and there's no room for error, or you'll be sent home. But also good defense and running the ball helps you win in the playoffs. So we have those things, and we're hoping that could lead us in the right direction.
Nick, so many of our questions to you have to do with the pass rush and putting pressure on the quarterback. But your guys' run defense has been pretty exceptional over the last half of the season. How much pride do you take in that? And how big is just how you've been able to bottle up teams in the run game? How much has that translated over to the success rushing the passer?
It definitely goes hand in hand. I think we're stopping the run at a incredible rate this year. I don't know if the numbers say it, but it feels a lot better than 19 run stopping wise. And that just gives you so many more opportunities on second and third down to get to the quarterback. And it's definitely a testament to the interior guys, Eric, DJ, Street, Kevin, getting Mo back. They're just playing at an extremely high level, all four of them, and then Samson is setting edges really well. He's really got a hang of this scheme, and Arden too. So everybody's really playing well.
And Nick, to get Emmanuel back last week, to get Greenlaw back, it looks like Aziz may be coming back. Does this look like a defense that's peaking to you at the right time?
Definitely, yeah. I think with our 3 linebackers back and the guys in the secondary, having Emmanuel back is as big as any person you could add to the team. Then we get Trent back too on offense, so it's definitely coming together.
Hey, what stands out to you about Dak Prescott when you look at the tape?
He's tough. He's stout in the pocket. It isn't easy to bring down, and he's good under pressure. I see him complete a lot of balls while guys are flashing in his face or while he's getting hit. He's poised for sure.
And Nick, this could just be a media thing, but when you guys lost to the Cardinals at home, that obviously, the defense, it just did not look at all right. And a lot of guys said it wasn't up to your standard. Did that do anything? Was that like a rock bottom? Was that in any way a meaningful moment this season, or was it just a bad game?
I think it was. I'm not gonna say it was the pivotal moment in our season, but wasn't that before the Rams game? But then we lost another one after that. So I don't know. I think it was just a bad game, honestly.
What kind of relationship do you have with Ezekiel Elliott still, given that your brother and him were obviously roommates in college and still remain close? And what can you tell this defense about Zeke and his run style specifically?
I keep in touch with Zeke a little bit. Obviously, we're both busy, but I love Zeke, and I remember hanging out with him and Joey when I would come visit when I was in high school, and they were a lot of fun. But I think whatever I could tell the defense about him, they already know. They see it on film. So he's a really good player, and we're going to have our hands full.
All right. Thank you, Nick.